Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. In this tutorial series, we are building this job board website using Next.js. In the previous video, we set up our project and we also installed ShadCN. Now in this video, we will start with the Navbar. So let's get started. Right, the first thing we will do is we'll create a component called navbar.tsx. So let's go over here to components. Let's create a new folder called features, and in the features we'll create a new folder called layout, and here I'll just create a new file called navbar.tsx, and let's go ahead and type export default function. Let's call it navbar, and for now I'll just return a header, and let's type navbar over here. Now we will add this navbar to the layout.tsx file so that we have the navbar added to all the pages in our website. So let's go over here, and just before the children, let's type navbar, and let's import it from components, features, layout, navbar. Now this is basically all the content of our page, and before that we are including the navbar. So now if we go back to our website, we can see that navbar is displayed over here. Right, now let's go back to our code and let's go to the navbar component. Let's start designing this. Now the first thing we will do is we'll create a div, and we'll just give it some classes. So let's type class name, and let's type mx auto to bring it to the center horizontally, and let's type max w. Let's set it to 7xl. And if you go back to our website, here we can see that we have this content on the left side and this on the right side. So for that we will set the display to flex. Let's type justify between so that both these elements are on the extreme left and right sides. Let's also type items center so that they are centered vertically, and we'll also type padding left and right of 4, and for larger screens let's type padding left and right of 8. Now in this we need to have another div. So in this div we will have this logo and this browse jobs link, and also this link called post a job. So here let's use a link component from Next.js, and here let's type href and let's set it to the home page. And for the logo, let's create a div, and let's add the briefcase icon from Lucid React, and below that we'll create a span, and let's type find talent over here, and this is how it looks. Let's bring these one next to the other. So here for this link, let's type class name, and let's type display of flex, items center, gap of 2. Let's also add a transition for the opacity, and let's type when we hover over this, we want the opacity to be 80. So this is how it looks. Now for the briefcase icon, we need to have this background. So here for the div, let's type class name, let's type display of flex, height of 9 and width of 9. Let's type items center and justify center. Let's type rounded LG for the border radius, and let's set the background to primary and the text color to primary foreground. Now these variables are located inside the globals.css file. So here we can see we have all these values over here. So we have this primary color over here, primary foreground, and all those colors are displayed inside this globals.css file. And for this briefcase, let's type class name. Let's set the height to 5 and the width to 5. So this is how it looks. And for this span, let's type class name. Let's type text of XL, and this is the font size. Let's type font semi-bold for the font weight. And let's type tracking tight for the letter spacing. So this is our logo. And after that, we need to have these two links. So let's go ahead and go outside the link, and let's type nav. And here let's type link. Here let's type browse jobs. And for the href, let's type the home page. And let's create one more link. And here let's type post a job. Let's also add some classes over here. So let's type class name, and we'll just hide it on smaller screens. And for medium and larger, let's type display of block. Let's type text to small, font weight to medium. And let's type transition for the colors. And let's type when you hover over this, we will type text primary. So this will change the color when you hover over this. And I'll just copy this class name and I'll just paste it over here, and we'll just remove the hidden from here. We want this to be displayed everywhere. And now let's go back to our website, and This is how it looks. Now we want all of these to be displayed one next to the other. So let's go to the container. And here for this div, let's go ahead and type class name, display of flex, items center, and gap of 8. And we also want these two links to be one next to the other. So here for this nav, let's type class name, display of flex, items center, and gap of 6. So this is how it looks. And then on the right side, we need to have these buttons over here. Now we'll create a different component for this because we need to make this component client component because we need to add interactivity. So we'll create a different component for this. For now, I'll just add a text. So let's go outside this div and let's create a div over here. And let's type client nav actions. And here we can see we have the client nav actions on the right side. And now let's go to the main container, which is the header, and let's add some classes. So let's type class name. Let's type sticky so that it is always on the top. Let's type top of 0, z index of 50 so that it's above all the other elements. Let's set the width to full. Let's add a border for the bottom. And let's set the background color to background 95. 95 is the opacity and background is the name of the color. And we'll also add a backdrop blur. So let's type backdrop blur of small. And now if we go back to our website, this is how it looks. Let's go back to our code and here for the div, let's add a height. Let's set it to 16. And this is our navbar. So with that, we have created our navbar.tsx file. So that's basically it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below. And if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.